December 19th, 1944. The Ardennes Forest. Europe's coldest winter in living memory. The trees of Bastogne stand like dark stone pillars. Snow falls in slow, silent sheets. And through this frozen hell marches a group of exhausted, undersupplied American paratroopers. Men of Easy Company, 506 Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101 Airborne Division. They do not yet know it, but they are walking into one of the most desperate defenses in American military history, a moment that will define them forever. They are cold. They have no winter uniforms. Most have no gloves. Many have no ammunition belts. And they are marching on orders from Lieutenant General Courtney Hodges to stop the last major German offensive of the war. The world will know this battle as the Siege of Bastogne. But for the men living it, it is simply survival. On December 16, 1944, Hitler unleashed Operation Wacht am Rhein, the Battle of the Bulge. 3 massive German armies, over 200,000 men, 1,400 tanks, and 2,000 artillery pieces smashed through the Ardennes, aiming to split the Allied front and capture Antwerp. The attack hit thinly held American lines. Entire units were pushed back or swallowed whole. And through this chaos, a single Belgian crossroads became the key to the entire German plan. Bastogne. 7 major roads converged there. Whoever controlled Bastogne controlled the entire region. General Eisenhower needed a miracle. General Omar Bradley needed time. And so the call went out. Send the 101st Airborne. But the division was resting in Mourmelon, France. Many men still recovering from Market Garden. Easy Company was scattered, tired, some just out of the hospital. When the order came, Major Dick Winters simply said, "We're going to the front." No one had winter gear. Supplies would not catch up for days. And still, they marched. December 19th, arriving at Bastogne. Easy Company reached Bastogne at midnight. Snow was falling. German artillery was already thundering across the forest. Colonel Robert Sink, commander of the 506, sent them straight to the northeast perimeter, the direction of the main German armored thrust. First Lieutenant Richard Dick Winters, recently promoted to battalion executive officer, greeted the men in the woods. "Dig in. Deep. We hold here." The men spread out along a line of frozen foxholes near the villages of Foy and Neuville. The men of Easy Company, among them Captain Herbert Sobel, was long gone, replaced by Lieutenant Harry Welsh, an aggressive, fearless leader. Carwood Lipton, the calm voice in every disaster. Don Malarkey, fiery, loyal, relentless. Joe Toy, hardened and unbreakable. Bill Guarnere, Wild Bill, unstoppable until wounded. Rod Stroll, Buck Compton, Eugene Doc Rowe, and the soft-spoken marksman, Shifty Powers. And behind them all, the quiet, iron-willed leadership of Major Winters. The artillery begins. At dawn, the first shells landed. The forest exploded. Trees shattered into deadly wooden shrapnel. The men hit the ground. No trenches yet, barely any cover. Shrapnel tore through the companies, and the first wounded were already screaming for aid. Medics like Eugene Rowe worked with nothing. No morphine, no bandages, no plasma. He ripped off his own clothes to wrap wounds. The men would forever remember Doc Rowe quietly saying, "You're gonna be okay. Just hang on." December 20th to 22nd. By the third day, the Germans had encircled the entire 101st Airborne. The roads were cut. No ammunition, no food, no medical supplies, no winter clothing, no reinforcements, no retreat. They were alone. General McAuliffe, acting commander of the 101st, received a German demand for surrender. His now legendary reply, "Nuts." When Major Winters heard the message passed down the line, he smiled. That means go to hell. And so Bastogne held. The German attack on Neuville. To the north, German tanks rolled toward Neuville. The 2nd Panzer Division and elements of the feared Kampfgruppe Piper, fresh from the Malmedy massacre. Easy Company, alongside other units of the 506, fought a delaying action in the fields. Lieutenant Buck Compton described the shock. "We had rifles and a few bazookas. They had Tigers. Still, they held. firing until their rifles froze in their hands. Patrols in the snow. Winters ordered aggressive patrols, Malarkey, Shifty Powers, Ranny, Popeye Wynn, and others. Moved through knee-deep snow, slipping between German positions. One night, Shifty spotted a German squad creeping toward an American foxhole. He whispered, "Take the one on the left," then fired a single shot, killing the point man instantly. The rest retreated. Shifty would later say, "I wasn't anything special, just doing my part." But to Easy Company, he was one of the best shots alive. December 24th, the bombardment. Christmas Eve. Bastogne burned under a massive German bombardment. Homes collapsed. Civilians screamed beneath rubble. Ammo dumps detonated. Medics worked by candlelight inside frozen cellars. In the woods, Easy Company huddled in their foxholes as trees exploded overhead. Joe Toy and Bill Guarner were hit within seconds of each other. Toy lost a leg. Guarner rushed to save him and lost his own. Malarkey wept when he saw his two closest friends carried away on stretchers. He later said, "In Bastogne, it felt like every man you knew was dying." Doc Rowe and the Belgian nurse. In the outskirts of the city, Doc Rowe found a makeshift aid station run by Renée Lemaire, a Belgian nurse who the men called the Angel of Bastogne. She worked day and night caring for the wounded paratroopers. On December 24th, a German bomb destroyed the aid station. Renée was killed along with dozens of wounded men. Doc Rowe, who had barely spoken during the entire siege, whispered, "We lost an angel today." The attack on Foy. After Christmas, Easy Company prepared for one of their most dangerous missions, the assault on the village of Foy. By now, the men were barely surviving. Frostbite, trench foot, exhaustion, starvation, zero winter gear. Yet the attack had to be made. The German lines were thinning. Lieutenant Norman Dyke was in command of Easy Company, but he froze under fire. Men were dying as he failed to give orders. Major Winters, watching through binoculars, slammed his fist into the snow. "He's gonna get every one of those men killed." So Winters sent in Lieutenant Ronald Spears. Spears sprinted through open fire across the entire German line, a suicidal run, to take command. Then, to the shock of both sides, he ran straight through the German-held town to relay orders to another unit, then ran back the same way. German soldiers simply watched him, too stunned to shoot. The men of Easy Company rallied behind him and smashed through the German line. Foy fell. Spears became a legend. Patton arrives. On December 26th, tanks of General George S. Patton's Third Army finally broke through to Bastogne. For Easy Company, it felt unreal, as if the tanks materialized out of the snow. Patton told reporters, "The 101st Airborne are not relieved. They're just surrounded more and holding the line." But the men knew the truth. Their ordeal was ending. They had held Bastogne at terrible cost. Easy Company remained in the line through January, pushing the Germans back toward Prüm and the Siegfried Line. But Bastogne left scars that would never fade. Frostbite had crippled dozens. Many were hospitalized. Some never walked again. Others carried the memories for life. Carwood Lipton said, "At Bastogne, I saw courage in its purest form." Major Winters reflected years later, "I wasn't a hero, but I served in a company of heroes." The men remember. Decades after the war, survivors of Easy Company spoke of Bastogne with quiet, haunted voices. Don Malarkey, who lost so many friends there, said, "We froze together. We fought together. We died together. That's the only way we made it." Shifty Powers, humble till the end. "I just tried to keep my buddies alive. That was all that mattered." Buck Compton, "Bastogne wasn't a battle. It was endurance. And somehow those boys endured." And Major Winters, the heart of Easy Company, left the world with one of the most famous lines ever spoken by a soldier. "I cherish the memories of a question my grandson asked me. 'Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?' Grandpa said no, but I served in a company of heroes." Thus ends the real story of Easy Company at Bastogne. A story of frozen foxholes, endless artillery, Quiet bravery and unbreakable brotherhood. The men did not fight for glory. They did not fight for medals. They fought for each other. And in the deepest winter of the Ardennes, they proved that courage can survive even in the coldest hell.